There is a power at work in your life this very moment, and it is far deeper than your present senses can detect. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but in every delay, every disappointment, every closed door, and every season of uncertainty, something sacred is unfolding on your behalf. God is not absent from your story. He is not waiting at the end of your journey. He is already there, going before you, preparing the way, arranging the details, and establishing outcomes that your present mind could never have imagined. Think of a presence so wise, so intimate, and so sovereign that it moves ahead of you through the unseen corridors of life, leveling mountains before you arrive and opening doors before your hand ever touches the handle. What appears to you as waiting may in truth be preparation. What feels like silence may be divine orchestration. What seems like delay may be the very evidence that God is arranging something too perfect to be rushed. And so, if you find yourself in a season where nothing seems to be moving, where you feel suspended between what was and what shall be, do not conclude that you have been forgotten. God never abandons what He begins. He does not start a work in your life only to leave it unfinished. The hand that fashioned you is still upon you. The love that called you is still surrounding you, and the wisdom that appointed your path is still guiding every step. Have you ever truly considered what it means when Scripture declares that God goes before you? This is not merely poetic language. It is revelation. It means that before you encounter the obstacle, the answer has already been prepared. Before you face the battle, the victory has already been contemplated in the mind of God. Before you arrive at the place of need, the provision has already been set in motion. God does not react to your life, He authors it. We are so accustomed to living by the narrow measure of time that we forget God does not dwell inside time as we do. We measure by hours, seasons, and deadlines. We speak of delay and urgency, of waiting and progress. But God sees the whole design at once. He beholds the beginning and the ending in a single, eternal vision. What looks unfinished to you is already complete in His mind. What appears delayed to you is already perfectly timed in His wisdom. You may be carrying burdens that feel heavy. You may be standing in a place of uncertainty, asking why the path seems obscured, why the answer has not come, why the door remains shut. But every moment of that uncertainty is still under divine supervision. Nothing in your life is random, nothing is wasted. Nothing is beyond the reach of the one who governs all things with perfect love. Consider Joseph. He was cast into a pit by his own brothers. He was sold as a slave, stripped of comfort, and carried into a foreign land. He was falsely accused and forgotten in prison. To the outward eye, his life seemed to be a tragic sequence of injustices. Yet heaven was not confused. God was not alarmed. The pit was not a punishment. The prison was not abandonment. Every descent was a preparation. Every humiliation was a hidden elevation. Every unjust moment was part of a design that would ultimately place him before kings. Joseph's path teaches us that what man calls setback, God may call setup. What seems like the breaking of your life may in fact be the making of your destiny. The very place where you believe you are being buried may be the place where God is planting something eternal in you. So do not curse the process simply because it is painful. Do not condemn the season simply because it is hidden. The seed must go underground before it rises in glory. The root must grow in darkness before the fruit can appear in the light. God's timing is never late. It is never early. It is exact. It is measured not by human anxiety, but by divine wisdom. We often imagine that if the answer has not come yet, then perhaps God has delayed. But delay, in the divine sense, is often the very mercy that protects us from receiving too soon what we are not yet prepared to carry. For what is blessing without maturity? What is opportunity without character? What is elevation without inward strengthening? God is not only interested in giving you what you asked for, He is interested in making you into the kind of person who can inhabit it, sustain it, and honor it. There is a beautiful declaration in the prophet Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. These are not empty consolations. These are eternal assurances. God is not improvising with your life. He has a plan. He has a purpose. He has an outcome already woven into the fabric of your journey. Imagine your life as a masterpiece being painted by a divine artist. Every brushstroke is intentional. Some strokes are bright and radiant, full of joy and clarity. Others are darker, textured by sorrow, resistance, and struggle. Yet the beauty of the painting is not found in one stroke alone, but in the harmony of the whole. You may be staring at one small section of the canvas and wondering why it is so dark, why so much of your present moment feels uncertain. But the artist sees the whole image. He knows what he is revealing, and he knows what he is concealing for now. This is why faith is not the denial of difficulty. Faith is the certainty that God is present within it. Faith does not pretend the fire is not hot. Faith says that even in the fire, God is there. Even in the furnace, He is active. Even in the pressure, He is shaping something glorious. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were not delivered from the furnace before entering it. They encountered God inside it. The fire did not consume them because the presence of God transformed the furnace into a sanctuary. The same God who walked with them in the flames is with you in yours. Your fire is not evidence of abandonment. It may be the very place of encounter. Often, God does His deepest work in silence. He does not always announce His movement with thunder. He does not always confirm His purpose with spectacle. More often, He works in the hidden places, in the stillness, in the waiting, in the quiet unfolding of things you cannot yet explain. You may think nothing is happening. Heaven does not agree. While you wait, God is preparing. While you wonder, He is arranging. While you ache for movement, He is positioning people, circumstances, and outcomes in ways that are perfectly aligned with your destiny. What feels like stillness may actually be sacred labor. What feels like absence may be the closest nearness. In Isaiah, the Lord declares that He acts in its time. That is the great secret of spiritual maturity. To believe that God's time is not wasted time. There are seasons when the soul must learn patience, because patience is not passive. Patience is trusting that the unseen hand of God is working even when the seen world has not yet changed. You may not understand why the road has taken so long. You may not understand why some doors have not opened, why certain prayers remain unanswered, why certain dreams seem to move slowly. But divine delay is not divine denial. Sometimes God withholds a thing not because He is refusing you, but because He is refining you. Think of Moses. He spent years in the wilderness tending sheep, far from the palace he once knew. To the natural mind, those years may have looked like obscurity. But in that hidden place, God was stripping away self-reliance, shaping humility, and preparing a man who could stand before Pharaoh and speak with holy authority. The wilderness did not destroy Moses, it developed him. And so it is with you. The period that feels like a detour may be the very road through which God is forming your spirit. The pressure you resent may be producing the strength you will need. The waiting you dislike may be building in you a stability that success alone could never give. The enemy would love to convince you that nothing is happening, that God has forgotten you, that your prayers have vanished into emptiness. But that voice is a liar. The nature of deception is to make the visible seem final. Yet God's promise is greater than your present conditions. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. God does not abandon His own workmanship. Think of a farmer planting seed. Once the seed is buried, there is a period in which the surface appears unchanged. To the careless observer, nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the soil, life is awakening, roots are reaching, strength is forming. Growth is taking place in secret before it ever becomes visible above ground. So it is with the seed God has planted in your life. There are promises within you that are not dead, only hidden. There are callings within you that are not lost, only developing. There are blessings in motion that have not yet broken the surface, but they are growing all the same. The invisible season is not a barren season, it is a forming season. And when the time is right, what has been hidden will emerge. There are moments when you may be tempted to give up, to stop believing, to conclude that the journey has gone on too long. But remember this: God has invested too much in you to abandon you halfway. He has placed His word upon you. He has placed His purpose within you. He has placed His love around you. You are not forgotten. You are being fashioned. He knows your heart. He knows your needs. He knows your desires before you can even express them. He knows the path that would bless you and the path that would wound you. He sees dangers you cannot yet perceive and mercies you have not yet discovered. Even when you interpret an event as rejection, it may be protection. Even when a door closes, it may be mercy sparing you from something that was never meant for you. God's silence is never evidence of His absence. In fact, some of the most profound movements of God occur when He seems quiet. Silence is often the chamber in which faith is purified. It is the unseen classroom where trust is deepened. Jesus Himself lived a life of hidden preparation before public manifestation. He was not thrust immediately into the spotlight. He grew, He matured, He developed. The years before His ministry were not wasted years, they were consecrated years. And in the same way, your hidden seasons are not meaningless. They are preparing you for a work larger than your current frame of reference. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That is not a call to blind optimism. It is a summons to inner certainty. It is the ability to stand in the midst of uncertainty and know that the invisible is more real than the visible, because the invisible is governed by God. If you live only by what your eyes can confirm, you will be shaken by every delay. But if you live by faith, you begin to perceive beyond appearances. You begin to understand that God is working on a different level, through a different wisdom, according to a different timing. And His timing, though mysterious to us, is always right. Human nature longs for immediacy. We want answers now. We want relief now. We want breakthrough now. But God is not only concerned with the destination. He is concerned with the formation. He is not simply getting you somewhere. He is making you into someone. This is why trials exist, not to crush you, but to refine you. Just as fire removes dross from gold, so pressure reveals and purifies the heart. What feels like suffering is often purification. What feels like strain is often strengthening. What feels like delay is often development. God uses the difficult things of life to build endurance, humility, compassion, dependence, and trust. He is not seeking merely to improve your circumstances. He is shaping your soul. Think of David, a shepherd boy with no outward credentials to defeat a giant. Think of Moses, who believed himself unable to speak. Think of Esther, placed in a royal position at the exact moment her people needed deliverance. Throughout Scripture, God repeatedly chooses what appears unlikely in order to reveal that His power is not dependent on human qualification. God sees what others do not see. Man looks at the outward appearance. God looks at the heart. Man judges by present performance. God judges by divine potential. There are gifts in you that have not yet fully emerged, strengths that have not yet been tested, and purposes that have not yet been revealed. God is cultivating them in hidden places. Many people pray for change in circumstance, but the greater miracle is often the change within. What if the answer to your prayer is not merely a different situation, but a deeper self? What if God is using the waiting not only to move things around you, but to transform things in you? This is the wisdom many fail to see. God is less interested in your comfort than in your character. He is building in you something that will last. Comfort fades, character remains, convenience disappears, faith endures. And when the storms of life come, it is not comfort that will hold you steady, but the inner strength formed through trust. So do not despise the season that stretches you. It may be the very season in which your soul is being enlarged. God often works in subtle ways. Not every miracle arrives with spectacle. Some arrive as peace in the midst of trouble. Some arrive as a quiet shift in perspective. Some arrive as the right person, the right word, the right interruption at the right moment. He works in details. He works in the small. He works in what the world ignores. That is why gratitude is so powerful. When you become attentive, you begin to notice the fingerprints of God everywhere. In the closed door that redirected you, in the delay that protected you, in the conversation that awakened you, in the quiet impression that kept you from danger, in the ordinary moment that was secretly holy. One of the greatest expressions of faith is persistence. To keep walking when you cannot yet see the destination, to keep trusting when the evidence is incomplete, to keep believing when the soul feels weary. God honors steadfastness. He honors those who continue to trust Him in the face of delay. Every step you take in faith matters. Every small obedience matters. Every moment in which you refuse to surrender to fear matters. You may not see the fruit immediately, but heaven records what earth overlooks. The journey itself is part of the blessing. God's love is not passive, it is active, it is relentless, it pursues, it preserves, it protects, it corrects, it carries. He goes before you, He stands beside you, He surrounds you. The presence that guided Israel by cloud and fire still guides His children today. The same faithful God is not merely near in theory. He is near in reality. When hope feels fragile, remember that you are not abandoned to your own strength. When the road feels long, remember that the one who called you also carries you. When the path seems unclear, remember that the clarity of the vision belongs to Him, even when it has not yet been given to you. You do not need to force what God is already arranging. You do not need to manufacture what divine timing will reveal. You do not need to panic over what is already known in eternity. Rest in this. What belongs to you will not miss you. There are seasons when God feels hidden, yet He is nearer than ever. There are times when His voice seems silent, yet He is speaking through the very process you wish to escape. Growth does not always happen in the spotlight. Often it happens in the shadows, where no applause reaches, where no one applauds your endurance, where no one sees the private wrestlings of your soul. But God sees, and because He sees, He knows how to lead you. The truth is, God's timing is perfect in ways our minds cannot fully comprehend. He is never late. He is never confused. He is never behind. He moves with precision. He knows the exact moment for the open door, the exact moment for the breakthrough, the exact moment for the answer to arrive. We may call it waiting. Heaven may call it preparation. What seems like a delay is often a divine appointment in disguise. What seems like a no may be a loving redirection. What seems like a loss may be the hidden path to something greater than you would have chosen for yourself. Romans 8:28 declares that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. It does not say all things are good. It says all things work together for good. That means even the painful things, the confusing things, the broken things, and the things you would never have chosen are being woven into a greater design. Nothing is wasted in the hands of God. The same faithfulness that sustained the saints of old sustains you now. God keeps His word. He does not betray His promise. He does not begin with you and then turn away. His love is not conditional on your perfection. His faithfulness does not depend on your performance. He remains true even when your feelings fluctuate. And because He is faithful, you can rest. The world teaches striving. God teaches surrender. The world teaches anxiety. God teaches peace. The world says you must control everything. God says, trust me. Not because effort is meaningless, but because effort is most fruitful when it rests upon divine wisdom rather than human fear. Cast your cares upon Him, for He cares for you. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. To release what you cannot carry is to make room for what God alone can do. There may be things you are waiting for now. Healing, restoration, opportunity, provision, reconciliation, direction, peace. Do not assume that because you cannot yet see the result, nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, God is moving. He is aligning hearts, He's opening paths, He is preparing outcomes, He is at work in ways unseen. And sometimes, The very things you thought would arrive quickly are taking time because God is preparing the whole environment around them. He is not only preparing you, He is preparing others. He is preparing circumstances. He is preparing timing. He is preparing the fullness of the blessing so that when it arrives complete. That is why your job is not to force the fruit, but to remain rooted. Keep your heart steady. Keep your vision lifted. Keep your trust anchored. Keep your attention on the one who is writing your story, not on the chapter that troubles you. For your life is not an accident. It is not a random sequence of events. It is a living narrative under divine authorship. Even the plot twists are under His hand. Even the unfinished pages are under His hand. Even the sections you do not understand are under His hand. And the beauty of it all is this: God is not only working around you, He is working within you. He is deepening your intimacy with Him. He is teaching your heart to rely on His presence rather than your own understanding. He is drawing you closer through the very things that once made you feel distant. Some of the most intimate encounters with God happen not in celebration, but in surrender, not in abundance, but in dependence, not in clarity, but in trust. So when you feel weak, do not assume that God has left you. When you feel unseen, do not assume that you are forgotten. When you feel stuck, do not assume that movement has ceased. The hand of God is still upon your life. He is working on your behalf. He is shaping your future. He is refining your spirit. He is preparing your breakthrough. And when the appointed hour arrives, you will understand that none of your waiting was wasted. Until then, trust the process. Trust the silence. Trust the timing. Trust the hidden work. Trust the unseen hand. Trust the love that never fails and the wisdom that never errs. For the God who began this work in you is faithful to complete it. And so, even now, in the middle of uncertainty, lift your eyes, stand in assurance, walk in faith, speak with confidence. The unseen is being made visible. The impossible is being prepared. The promise is moving toward manifestation. Keep going, keep believing, keep trusting. God is working on your behalf even now. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you again in the next video.